So as you can see, this is an old hair bonnet, and I love the print. I've had it for a very long time, and I do want to keep it. However, the elastic had started to go. I actually went to use it yesterday, and it was not no longer holding. So the best thing to do. And if you can hand sew, you can absolutely replace this. If you can machine sew, also another great thing. But every sew is when they do the hair bonnets, there is a place where they have to close out, do the closure, and this is where it is. So all you will need is either a pair of scissors or seam rippers. A seam ripper is very inexpensive. You can find one on my website at isewithjoy.com. But if you don't have a seam ripper, you can also use a pair of scissors. You're going to have to measure the width of your head. So you go around the circumference, rather, not the width, the circumference of your head. So when you measure the circumference, you're going to do that and take out 2 inches. So let's say the circumference of your head is 24 inches. Your elastic you want to make about 22 inches. And that also includes accounting for the place where you're going to join this together. The reason you want to do that is because obviously it's elastic, it stretches, and over time you don't want it to just go give out. So this one, I have replaced it at least 4 times. As you can see, there's different color threads, and I'm going to be doing it again. I have had this hair bonnet since 2015 or 2016. I'm sorry, 2016. So I've replaced it multiple times. So of course, elastic always gives. It's the nature of elastic, and this one gives about every year. So I'm going to be doing that. Now you're going to need to do this if you don't have a sewing machine, and I'm going to hand sew because that is what most people are more likely to have when they're home. You'll need the elastic you want. And you can either use this. It's called a budkin, Bodkin. But if you don't have a budkin, you can use a pin, just a safety pin, and just put it through and use it to thread it through. But this budkin is much easier. There are different types of budkins. Let me know if you want me to do a video on them. But this is what you will need. So you'll get that, and then you get your needle. I typically have a container here that has a whole bunch of different needles or with different things. So I'm going to see which one I want to use. Since I have this here, I'm going to use that. And then I'm just going to thread my needle. And because I wear glasses, I am going to use a needle threader. I'm going to post a video of how to thread a needle, but this is just a quick tutorial on how to do this. So I have this, and I have this. Now, I don't typically use the exact same color, a matching color, like I did when I first sewed this. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to differentiate and know how many times, it's just a silly thing for me, how many times I've sewn this over. So I'm going to use a different color for this. So you have this and you have this, and let me get, let's do pink this time. This is actually my serger thread, but I have it's just fun. There's nothing wrong with using it. It's actually pretty sturdy, so it's actually a good thing. So you'll get your needle in one hand, put your threader through. I can see that. Put it through. Put your thread through the threader, and then just hold it a little bit, like you see there. And then pull this through, and you've just threaded your needle. So you're just going to get as much as you think you'll need. Typically, the rule of thumb is you want to do your arm's length, but some people are not comfortable having such a long stretch of needle and thread, so you don't have to if you're not comfortable doing that. Just do what you're comfortable with as far as threading goes. So now I'm just going to get both ends together, and I'm going to do a knot here. So if you've never done this, this is how I was taught, but if you just, oops, it came off of my stand. But if you don't know how to do that, let me try to get the stand fixed. And if I can't get it fixed, I'll put it on a different stand. Actually, I probably should use a different stand, so let me use a different one. Give me 1 second. The joys of going live. Okay. So the angle will be a little different right now, but this is the best path so that it doesn't come up again. There we go. So this should be more sturdy. All right. So going back to what I was saying, you can try to create a knot here. Just pull this through, or you can run your fingers through until you get a knot. But I'm just doing this because it's easier right now. I have my little knot. It's very tiny, but it's there. And so first things first. So now I've threaded my needle. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to go through the opening that I opened earlier, which is right here. So again, like I said, I've done this over the years. The elastic kind of gives out about every year. So if you purchase a hair bonnet, no matter where you purchase it from, the elastic will give out eventually. I'm just using my threader to thread the elastic through the casing. This is called the casing, the area that holds the elastic. It's just called, I don't know why it's called a casing, but that's just what it's called. And no, I no longer have this fabric in my store, printedbonnet.com. It was a very popular one and a lot of people bought it. The other thing I'm very careful about is I want to make sure that my elastic stays and doesn't accidentally slip in. So I usually will take that other end and just pin the other end of the elastic to the side of the fabric to hold it like so. And make sure you keep your elastic flat. I've I have a pet peeve of like when it's not flat, and here's the reason why it's important, because when it's not flat, it's not comfortable. I can honestly tell you, it is not a comfortable feeling if you're wearing your elastic and it's not flat. So you're just gonna go ahead and thread that completely through. And since you're going to be wearing a bonnet all night, you don't want something that's not comfortable. So again, I'm just using my hands to make sure, one, that my elastic is staying flat, and I'm holding onto the budkin here to make sure that it stays like so. And it's just being threaded all the way through. I'm going to pull that through, and that's it. Pull through. So I'm going to take that, also making sure I'm keeping the right side that it went in, so that, again, it stays flat and doesn't come out twisted. And over time, you will know this. So this is the flat end to flat end, and you're going to go ahead and hand sew these parts together. So this is why you threaded your needle in the first place. You wanted to be able to do this once it was ready to go. Make sure you have 2 equal parts on your needle. And sewing, if you don't know how to hand sew, um, what I do is I do a back stitch or a running stitch, and I do it multiple times, so front and back. That way it holds over time. Now, if you know how to use a sewing machine, not a problem, but this is just an easy one for someone who's home and doesn't necessarily want to go out and buy a new hair bonnet. This is a good way to make sure that you keep in your, oops, sorry, you keeping your hair bonnet longer, and you're able to use it for a longer period of time. So, like I said, this hair bonnet is 5 years old. And because, I don't like waste, I am one of those people, like, if something is still usable, why toss it? So just go ahead and sew it down. And remember, when I told you to reduce by 2 inches, the reason you're doing that is because you're also going to account, like, theoretically you could reduce it even more, but you're going to account for um, the fact that you're sewing parts of it. So this accounts for about an inch. And now I'm just holding it in different places. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm not trying to be neat here because it's not going to be seen. I just want to make sure that this stays together. Okay. And once that is done, I'm just going to go ahead and tie this off. If you don't know how to, you can just run it a couple of times over your needle and pull it through to create a knot. Or you can just, run it a few times around and try to find a place you want to stop it. And I'm just going to cut that. So set that aside. And now, testing it, it's pretty sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. And now I'm just going to let it pull through my hair bonnet. So now it's fully in there, and the next thing I'm going to do is close out the hair bonnet. Now it's important to remember when you are opening the casing in the first place to use it, you do not want to create too large an opening, because over time that could also deteriorate every time you go in and you go in to replace this. So again, I've done this multiple times. The original color is what you see here. So this is how I mark how many times I've had to replace the elastic. It's exactly 5 times. So this was the original color. That's 1. You can see a red color. That's 2. You can see a black color. That's 3. You can see a blue color. That's the bluish green. That's 4. And this is number 5, the 5th time I am replacing the elastic on my hair bonnet. So this hair bonnet has actually lasted me 5 years. Now, again, I just opened a small part there with my pair of scissors. And this time I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. And if you don't know how to sew, I teach classes at isewwithjoy.com. And if you want to get a bonnet, a brand new one, you can pick one up at paintedbonnet.com. But I'm going to go ahead and just do simple stitches. So this is what it looks like. I'm using pink this time, so I want to make sure, like I said, I want to be able to track how many times and how long I'm able to use this bonnet before it gives out. I just did the one over, and I'm going to go back and do it again across, so that again, it holds sturdy and doesn't come apart as I am sewing. So, or as I wear it. And this is going to give me another year out of it. So think about it. If you want a hair bonnet, I mean, every elastic's going to give out. Every single elastic that you purchase will eventually, elastic hair bonnet will eventually lose its elasticity. What's important is, and part of that is that, we all use different hair products. We have oils on our skin and different things. And over time, that just, it messes up with the elastic. So you just want to see what is the best way to hold on to it, especially if the material is still good and you don't want to waste, which again, like I said, I do not like waste. So again, to close it out, you can put that through. And like I said, I teach sewing classes, hand sewing and machine sewing. I can show you how to do this. It's virtual, so you'll do it from the comfort of your home, and you don't need to worry about, you don't need to feel self-conscious. You learn at your own pace. So I'm just going to create another knot here. And this is it. The elastic has been fully replaced on my hair bonnet. I'm going to put that away. And I have almost like a brand new hair bonnet. This is what it looks like. Again, this is a 5-year bonnet. 5 years that I've had the same hair bonnet, and I'm still able to replace the elastic and use it over and over again. Goes in the wash. I've traveled with it. I actually have a matching set with my kids, and this is the old one, so now these can go right in the trash. Well, thanks for joining me. Hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave them. And hello, Susan. Sorry I didn't see your comment because I had to change my camera, and ended up not realizing the view is a little different for this one. But thank you so much. Visit my website if you want to learn to sew, isewwithjoy.com, or you can pick up a hair bonnet. I don't have this print anymore, but there's many other different prints and many other different customized styles you can find at paintedbonnet.com. Bye.